Welcome back to another episode of STEM in Stilettos. This is your host, Zofia Morales. And if you've ever wondered why people walk up to your second in command and talk to them instead of you, if you've wondered why people around you seem to feel like you're not quite right for the C-suite, it may have something to do not with your qualifications, not with your skill set, but how you present yourself to the world. And so if you've ever run into any of those challenges or been mystified, today we're going to talk about evolving your executive presence and your speech for getting the results that you want. Our guest today is Dr. Miluna Fausch. She's the owner, producer, and host of Miluna TV Network, a media coach, an actor, and the author of Uplevel Your Communication, Evolve Your Presence and Speech to Change Everything. As a girl, she dreamed of racing cars and singing. And Dr. Miluna now has a BS in music business, a PhD in holistic psychology, and is certified as a miracle-minded coach by Marianne Williamson. Miluna loves to attend concerts, lectures, and tours, travel, wine taste, carries a Swiss passport, and loves Formula One. She's eclectic, to say the least. And she was voted best dressed in high school and lives in the South Carolina Low Country. Welcome, Dr. Miluna. I'm so happy to have you here with me.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
I always love connecting with guests, cast a broad net of interest, and I think we are soulmates in that regard.
I believe so after our previous conversation.
Yes, my bio says plays with power tools on the side.
I wish I had that skill. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll play together someday. I'll show you how they work.
Oh, good. You can teach me the power tool technique of a woman. Yes.
Indeed. So let's talk a little bit about how we speak and how that influences how people perceive us and our qualifications in the world. Why is evolving our executive presence so critical to our success in business and other areas of our lives?
It just is. Folks are,
Human
I'll,
psychology.
I'll explain why. I'll explain why. I'll
Sounds good.
womansplain. We have no mansplaining
Yes,
over here.
let's she-splain.
She's playing. Ooh, I love making, we can make up some great
We will
words
make all kinds of fun new vocabulary over here.
that accurately describe and are not a male language. I'm continually astonished how little people are aware of their own voice and presence.
Mm.
I know it's tricky. Here we are looking out, everyone else is looking in. I get that. But everything is living, everything around us, everything has a sound. Scientists are now studying plants. Plants have a sound when they grow. So we cannot escape this energy and sound of all living beings, including plants, trees, animals. And when we are, let's say we're speaking too fast, we speak so fast no one can follow. We
Yes.
speak too slowly. We speak too
Quiet.
quietly. We have
We
a
speak
high-pitched
with a
voice.
vocal fry.
Vocal for, I'm gonna be down on my chords. This is of no benefit. This is a voice that has no carrying power energetically, frequency wise. Our voices reveal volumes about us, pun intended. When we're speaking, people are judging because that's what our reptilian brain does. We're learning your education level. Are you confident? Are you self-assured? Do you know about this topic you're speaking on? Did you rehearse your speech? Now, of course, that's me talking. But people tell me they don't prepare for presentations. Then work with me and I'll teach you how to do that. I don't wing it. All
Yeah.
these years later, I don't wing it, and I know you don't either.
You're a trained actor. You know better than to wing it.
We know better. And when we will take a look at our voice and presence, and as you said, when a person is said she doesn't have executive presence, it's this. Whether you want to
Mm.
hear that or not, it's not your freaking resume, which is impressive. It's that you cannot represent the company. You do not have a mission that you can articulate. There's no buy-in from your team because you're not allowing for emotional and smart messaging and speeching.
Yes, yes. And I think it's easy to look at TikTok, or little blips on Facebook or LinkedIn or something, and go, well, I need to just stand straighter and take up more space. But it actually starts deeper than that. It starts inside of you by what emanates out of you, and that reinforces the proper body habits. That's my experience, at least. What's yours?
I love that. Yes, indeed. It doesn't start when we get to camera because we haven't prepped. An actor or a singer or an athlete, how many hours have they spent training over the years? Thousands, thousands and thousands. It's why are you even speaking? Now, I don't know why we're
Mhm.
afraid to go there. Before a speech, why are you even doing it? When you
Yeah,
and I spoke about me being interviewed, it was a great fit. It was easy for me to say yes, easy for you. There are things I don't want to do, right? If a
right.
podcast has two listeners, why would I take my precious time, even though those two people matter, to do that? I would not. Before a speech, what is the point? I worked when we lived in Silicon Valley in Palo Alto. There was a company, and I worked with the CFO. And the man had zero personality. It's in my book. Names names not included to protect the guilty, of course.
Of course.
He could not understand why I was telling him to have a personality because they were winning an award, and I mean a
Mm.
very prestigious award. He said, I don't know what he said in a very unexcited, judgmental way. Miluna, numbers are not, I think they're only numbers or science. Yeah, but
They tell a story, and if
they
you
tell
if
us
you tell them
stories.
properly, they're very engaging.
Thank you. I think numbers are fun. Having no money is no fun.
Amen.
Tell us why our company's growing and not shrinking. Make a story about what that means to us. Bring it to life. We don't really care about the numbers unless you're an auditor. We care why.
Yes, why the numbers are significant, what the numbers are telling us, why the numbers are giving us cause to celebrate or despair.
You said it. That's it.
Yeah,
So
so
the why, the prep, anything, any topic, I promise you can be made sexier. It can be made more fun. We know that people remember a story 22 times more. I think that's a low number. I'm going to say it's higher than that.
I would agree with that assessment because story sticks. Facts and figures oftentimes don't stick. You need them. Don't get me wrong. You can't just go in with a good story and nothing to back it up. But unless you have the story that makes those numbers compelling, you're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. Love that word. Compelling is one of my favorite words.
I love it.
Any Well, not any speaker. Not everyone should be a public speaker. Most speakers can be trained to be confident, compelling, and captivating on stage. And that's where that magic of a great speaker, whether it's a CEO, a minister, even some politicians are great at it, a poet, an actor or singer. We want to lean into these people and we're listening. That's the difference. We're listening. We're not texting in our seat. We're
Yeah, you're not going, oh, this chair is terribly uncomfortable, and how much longer before they're gonna wrap? Yeah. Well,
When's
and
lunch?
you
We've all been
mentioned,
there, right?
yeah, and you mentioned earlier giving feedback to a rather flat CEO that he needed to bring more personality. When you give that direction, what are some practical, tactical things that a person can do to get rid of their flat affect. Because I know as women, oftentimes we're trained to kind of be soft, be demure, blend into the wallpaper, that sort of non-assertive stuff. And I think you need to be a little assertive to have personality.
I agree. Some folks think we shouldn't have strong opinions. Why not? Doesn't mean our opinions don't change based on more information, more data, more heart, more intuition. But I used to work with some of the folks in Silicon Valley. I literally had one person read Dr. Seuss. And
I
because
love Dr. Seuss. Talk about your fun read.
talk about rhythm and magic in
Yeah.
words and rhythm. So some languages have built-in rhythm. Italian, oh, opera, oh, Francais has rhythm. English
Mhm.
is more staccato. German is very staccato. So I like to use musical terms or terms depending on their job. What can they relate to?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we
In English can be pretty flat for the most part, depending on what region you came from. In fact, I learned Norwegian and spent a year in Norway in between high school and college, and they literally sing their language. And if you don't sing it right, your pronunciation can be fine, but they won't get it because you have to sing it right.
I love that. Yes, this is what we're speaking about. So I would say, first of all, give yourself permission to show more of who you are. Why are we holding back? Now, that's a whole nother topic about healing, but we can
Yes.
talk about that as well. First, we do our healing work, and that's what I do on myself and with clients. We heal that. I was told as a child, sit down and be quiet, be
Mm-hmm.
seen and not heard.
Yep.
Many of us were from our generations. Secondly, then we want to practice audio recording. And I typically don't start with video because there's judgment first, now how we sound and then how we look. So
Exactly.
let's
Two levels of judgment as opposed to just one, which is how I sound.
exactly. So let's start with just the audio. And sometimes I have people do fun things. I like it to be fun and memorable. You can literally stand in a corner and speak your voice. And that way you can hear it because it's feedback. Our
Yeah.
ears are here. We've got to
Bounces
be able to
off the
hear.
walls next to you. Yes.
Yeah, so you can do elephant ears. That's a technique I can show, but talk into a corner
Yeah.
and you can start to self adjust.
Yeah.
Oh, I do sound
One
like.
of the tricks that I learned is speaking of elephant ears, it's related. You know how they'll show pilots or whatever, they'll put two fingers over their earpiece and then their hand towards their mouth. That'll actually channel your voice back into your ear. And it allows you to hear yourself more as you actually are. Because the voice
There
that you
you.
hear in your head when you talk is not how you sound to anyone else.
It is not. See, folks, look at these tips. And you want to make peace with your voice. People will say,
Ah,
"Oh, do I really sound like that?" As you just said. Mm, yes and no, because we hear it differently, of course, than someone
yes.
else. But I want folks to know you can build a better voice. You really can.
Oh, I love that. I love that because I think many of us are a little despairing of our voices because we were told, oh, well, you'll never be a singer or any number of other obnoxious things that people say to kids to get them to hush. And yeah, it's important to really lean into and own what you have. Oh, Dylan. Dylan is kind of my example of lean into it and own what you have. He's got the worst possible voice out there.
He
And
does.
yet, he made a
And
living
yet,
as a singer.
it is true. He sings a story.
Yes,
We will never call him a singer. I'll call him a musician,
there you
as
go.
being a musician who has interesting stories and he communicates only as he can.
Exactly. And he did it by owning his voice. He didn't go out and change it. He didn't create that particular style or cadence. It was uniquely and innately his.
It was innate to him,
Yeah.
as you said. It is true. And I think that one more tip I would give around this topic that we're sharing, when you do your speeches and presentations, it really needs to be your words as much as possible. Because when
Mm.
it's our words and ownership, we naturally have more passion and excitement, which can lift up any sort of flat line or boringness.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up, and I want to dig into that a little bit more after a break because we're coming up on the first one. Because I think it's becoming increasingly common to, what do I want to say, sub out the writing and creating process around your presentations, whether it's to an assistant or literally like AI. And it's easy to end up with something that doesn't sound like you at all, even if you fed it your vocal style. So I'd love to dig into that when we get back from the break. And I like to give a little bit of homework over the break to keep us engaged with the material while we're experiencing sponsorship. What would you suggest as a little bit of thought homework for the break?
Let's have people think about their voice. Think of it as a multi-dimensional instrument, which it
Mm.
really is. Think of how small it really is, but with the impact it can have. And let's write down one thing. Handwriting connects to your subconscious. So we prefer you handwrite, wink, wink, than
Yep,
type.
grab your piece of paper and your pencil. Let's do this thing.
Thank thank you. And write down one thing you'd like your voice to communicate.
Very good. I like that. So think about that one thing that you want your voice to communicate each and every time you open your mouth. Thank you very much. And hang with us. We'll be right back from the break.
Oh, check it loud, but we'll hear. Tech is ours and we show no fear. No fear. No fear. No fear.
Thanks for hanging in with us through the break. This is Zofia Morales, and I am back with the amazing and wonderful Dr. Miluna Fausch. So, Dr. Miluna, before the break, we spent some time thinking about what we want our voice to say when we open our mouth. What is that impression that we want it to carry with it? If, for example, our voice right now doesn't carry that impression, whether it's an impression of authority or power or whatever the thing we're looking to project is, how do we begin to shift that?
The thinking is involved, how we think about it, what we said earlier, that you want to make peace with it. Number one. Number two,
Mm.
know you can build a better voice. Maybe you go to improv class. Maybe you recite poetry at home. Also, you want to record yourself.
And listen to it again later.
And listen to it again later. Later on, you may not have to do this. I don't do this anymore generally, although I do watch my own TV shows generally. It's at the beginning, if you can close your eyes if it's video, just listen and determine what are the qualities and how am I being perceived. I would ask someone you can trust who will tell you the truth. A spouse, my husband will always tell me the truth if I was spot on or not. And think about your posture and your ability. Think of your whole body as holding your voice.
Mm.
When I studied opera, I had an extraordinary German opera coach, a woman who had escaped from East Germany and come to
Okay.
the US.
Yeah.
And we used to talk about singing from our feet. What that really means is you take up space, especially for opera. My gosh, do you need to have stamina? In fact, you need to have the same stamina as a fighter pilot.
Yeah. You need to be in good condition.
You've got to
And you
know
need
how
your
to
feet on the darn floor.
feet on the ground. So when we're crossing our legs and being all weird with our feet, we are not grounded in our body, which means our breath is not fully present, our voice is not fully present. I like to tell people to imagine a three golden fork, and you want to project your speaking voice straight out. For many people, if you need to lift it up out of your throat, think of the top of your lip here
Okay.
and project it out. Think of the back of the room through the camera energetically. Don't let the
Mm.
sound drop, which just went down to my feet. So it's a journey, and perhaps breathing exercises can help. The corner trick can help hearing yourself, raising your voice intentionally. As I mentioned, when I was a kid, I was told to be seen and not heard. I did not have a big voice. I was afraid to speak up because usually I would be hit
Uh-huh.
or punished because of that. So in college, they said you don't have a big enough voice to be heard. That's a problem when you're an opera singer.
That is a big
So,
problem when you're an opera singer.
holy moly. So sometimes I literally practice being loud just because I can. So open your breath, think of your whole rib cage, breathe your whole body.
Yeah.
Yoga can help, workouts can help.
Well,
Once
and
you can empty your,
let's dig a minute into being louder because I think a lot of us have been trained to scream, which is more of like a tightening up of the throat, but that doesn't always get you louder. How do you get actual volume?
volume, great question. There is a difference. It's not necessarily loud, it's resonant.
Yes.
So when we have the resonance, when it's correctly here and it's moving, the breath is moving, you've got it coming out here. Woo!
I mean,
You
it's
feel it
straight
in your
out of your
chest,
mouth. Yes, not out of
right
your
out of your
throat.
mouth.
Yep.
You feel chest resonance, baby. You feel the speakers, your cheek speakers. You are facey, 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 and it's coming out. When I sang opera, we weren't mic'd. Now people
Mhm.
are mic'd. You project it to the end of the room. So if you're free and you know what you're saying and you're breathing, you'll have more power in resonance, which translates to more volume and ability for people to hear because it's ringing. It's got a
Yeah.
vibration that's in tune.
One of the exercises I think that really brought that home for me was a form of verbal meditation where you do the and you can from here, but it's not the same. You want to like bring it up into the center of your head and like really intensify it. And so if you have a local place that does meditation and especially like chanting, that's an amazing place to learn to build that resonance because when you're in a room with people, you can feel it happen.
It becomes loud, doesn't it?
Yes, and not
We're
just to
all,
your ears, but your entire body feels it.
oh, what a great point you make. Your entire body vibrates. We're in training together. And there's a reason we go, oh, you bring it from your body. As you said, it's not a shallow sort of activity. Your whole body vibrates. That's what we're talking about, the resonance of your voice.
Yeah, wow. And
Woo.
it might take a minute to gain that skill, no?
I'm still working on this. How many years have I been doing this? Since I was a little girl swinging and singing in the backyard.
Yeah. But
Our voices
the good
continue to
news
develop.
is that you don't have to be perfect with it though, right? A little improvement can take you a long way. I have a friend who's got a PhD in organic chemistry and is a teacher and has this really heavy Alabama accent. And some accents tend to leave one with the impression that you might be less intelligent than you actually are. What does one do when one has something like that happening?
It's so tricky. Accent reduction is a whole nother thing. Yes, folks are judged by the way they're speaking. Let's see, what would I say about that? Most folks aren't willing to change their accent. So we know even famous people who are famous that really are hard to understand. I don't like that. I think it's tricky. If I have to really struggle to hear, it makes me angry. My body starts being angry because I'm very auditory.
Yeah.
I think I would say the same thing, even though I'm not an expert in accent reduction. But poetry, working with our vowels, A-E-I-O-U, helps articulate more clearly, record yourself, and perhaps listen to a more neutral accent, which would be the Midwest, sometimes Chicago a little bit, although they can have accents as
Yeah.
well. Listen to newscasters, and some of them now I don't care for. I don't think there's any training. Listen
There's
to some of
not as
the
much
old,
training as there was. Yeah. Listen to like old Walter Cronkite or somebody. Yeah.
listen to Walter Cronkite. Listen, that easy for Cronkite. Dan Rather's pretty clean when you hear him. He's what, 85? He's still interviewing actors and famous people. Listen to a voice you love and see what can shift in your own articulation skill.
So you have a concept that I'd like to dig into called the vocal archetypes system. What is this about and how did you come to develop this?
Thank you. It's mostly my spiritual training. All my years of studying religion and finding a goddess temple in Orange County, California, which changed my world as a woman. And it occurred to me the more I learned about the archetypes of woman, and we believe there are four. Many traditions say the maiden, the mother, and the crone. No way.
Yeah,
That leaves
I'm
out the
not a
most.
fan of that one.
It's so limited. There are four phases, or and maybe even five. The maiden, young woman, the mother, whether that's a physical person, child or not, we give birth to other things than children. The queen, the good queen, my stage of life, maybe yours too. The elder or wise woman. And then if you're over 90, we say hag. The literal meaning of hag is not what it has come to mean. It is holy woman.
Uh-huh. Let's
And what
go
I
with
realized is
holy woman
holy woman is the
because
true meaning of
we
that
don't
word.
need to be misunderstood in today's environment.
It's these words have become patriarchally reversed.
I was going to say bastardized, but yeah.
Bastardized is a perfect word. Thank you. And I realized our voice also had a mix of these stages of our lives.
Mm.
Now, we are all of these things in our body right now, and so is our voice. So, for me, it became a correlation with vocal recipes.
Mm.
So, with clients, I create a recipe. So,
Oh,
let's say you're leading your board meeting. Who's
all
going to
right.
want to show up the most? That's your queen. That's your
Yes.
benevolent, visionary queen voice. Your maiden, you might lift your pitch just a bit for a joke.
Uh-huh.
When you're firing somebody, probably a little bit of the mother, not mothering, but that compassion needs to come out, maybe a
Yeah.
little softer voice of the mother. So it's this beautiful dance of a mix. And I wrote about this in my book. That's where it really became clear for me what this meant, our vocal archetypes.
I like that because it goes back to what answering that question of why am I not getting the response that I'm looking for when I put my message out into the world? And if you're using the wrong archetype when you're putting it out in the world, of course you're going to be misunderstood because we understand so much more than just the words that are spoken. How you
Yes.
present yourself, the emphasis with which you put the message out definitely impacts how someone receives it. And I had a guest, wow, I forget when. It was quite a few episodes ago, but we were talking about really landing your messages. When you make a statement, make it a statement, not a question, not a seek for approval. And you see this a lot with women when they introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Zofia Morales. No, no, no. I don't need anyone's approval to be Zofia Morales. I'm Zofia Morales. Nice to meet you.
You make a fabulous point. I call that the up squeak.
The up squeak, I love it.
So we'll never forget. You can call it up talk, up speak. I call it up squeak.
Up squeak, no up squeaking.
No up squeaking, please. For me, when I hear up squeak, it sounds like this. And I'm thinking, why are they going up in pitch? First of all, your credibility and authority are thrown away.
Right.
Now, I realize most people are not conscious of why they're feeling insecure or why they think you're insecure. Trust me, we're feeling it. We're picking up on, as you said, all those cues, not just what we're saying, but everything else, our delivery.
Well, and it
If
may
it's,
also be a subconscious pattern. I think some people do it not realizing the message that it sends, even though they're feeling fine in themselves. And the reason I say this is it was a sales coaching group, and there was a lady who was saying she was having trouble with her sales meetings being hijacked by the other party. And so we were running through this role play, and she would do things like say, well, and this is how I do these things. Well, no. If this is how you do these things, it gives the other person permission to bring their own framework in. And so when you combine that with the up squeak, which she was the queen of course her sales meetings were getting hijacked. It had nothing to do with the script.
that is a great example. I'm hearing a lot more of kind of sort of wimp, I call them wimp ass words.
Yes, I just wanna. No,
Yeah. No, you
just
want to or you
go to the
don't.
point.
Want is not really a word. It should probably be removed from the dictionary. You either want to or you don't. You're trying or you're doing.
Yeah. And the whole I just. Yeah, no, you're minimizing what you're trying to accomplish. Just
Thank
ask for what you want.
Ask for what you want. When you ask for what you want and you're clear and confident, your odds are they skyrocket. That I practice this all the time. If I'm clear, confident, and in my heart and integrity, I usually get something that's very good for me and the other party. It's what you said. Let's drop the wimp ass words. Speak with credibility and sureness. That also gives permission to the other person to be more clear. You don't
Absolutely.
kind of sort of want it. Who I can't answer that. What do you want?
Yeah, let's be clear about what your objectives are here. What is an acceptable outcome for you? Where are we actually in conflict? Where are we in synergy? And you don't get to that without a little more precision in words.
Thank you. If we have the courage to be clear, now we can start the conversation. Now the conversation or negotiation can begin.
Exactly. We are up on our second break already. Can you believe that?
I cannot believe it. I
It's,
guess
it's
we have
just,
something to talk about here.
I guess. We were discussing before the show that without a timer, we'd blow way past. So let's see, our homework for this one. I would like to invite you to think about your recent communications with and spend a little time around where you could adjust some of your linguistic habits. Do you just a lot? Do I just wanna, I just this, I just that. Think about some of these verbal tics. Do you up squeak? Is a good one to ask yourself. And there are places for that up inflection. If you're asking a question, of course it's perfectly appropriate, but try to keep it out of the squeaky zone. But spend some time reflecting on how your communications have been and see what patterns you notice and hang with us. We'll be right back from the break.
Oh, check it loud, but we're here. Tech is ours and we show no fear. No fear. No fear. No fear.
Thanks for hanging in with us through the break. This is Zofia Morales, and I'm back with the amazing and wonderful Dr. Miluna Fausch. And we spent some time reflecting over the break on some of our verbal tics. And I imagine this information will be useful moving forward, not just in terms of our interpersonal communications, but as we move up, we found companies, we move into the C-suite, higher level leadership positions. there is more call for us to do things like media interviews, board presentation, pitches to investors. What are some of the keys to really presenting yourself powerfully in a public forum like that?
Absolutely. The stakes are higher. And it gets more fun for those of us who like to be in public some of the time. And you don't even have to be 100% extrovert. I'm not, believe it or not. I'm actually shy sometimes.
Are you
So
kidding? I'm actually an introvert.
I live right in the middle. So when I need to be on, I'm on. And so we say that to our beautiful CEOs who are more introverted, also like us. On television, for example, on video, you've got to smile more. So you'll want to practice that. We got to smile more than we think, especially for women. We need to be seen. I know it's not fair, but we need to be seen as powerful, credible, and warm.
Yes.
Not so much for the men. So you'll want to smile more.
Yeah, because
You,
that is a major way you project warmth. It may not be the only way, but that's the one the camera likes.
that's the one the camera likes. That's the charisma factor. And when you watch a great actor, just see how they do their eyes and oh, it's amazing. So camera, less gesturing or smaller probably, smile more. Now when you're on stage, I want you to be bigger.
You
If
need
you're
to
going
take
to
up some
choreograph,
space. Yes.
I want you to take up space. I want those legs like this, not like this. And
Yes,
I want
nicely
you to
planted, firm on the floor. Yes.
firm the floor as we established earlier. I want you to practice what you're saying. If you can get the media questions ahead of time or you've given those questions to them, you'll be more prepared.
Yes.
Also, be prepared to talk about yourself. Auditions, they love to do that to actors. What they'll say to us is, so tell me about yourself.
With no other cue on where to begin or what they're looking for.
And what is the point of that? Can you articulate?
Exactly.
So
Can you
I
ad
have,
lib? Can you
can you ad lib?
express?
Can you
Yes.
improv? Can we go off script right now? So I have a little, I don't think I have it memorized right now, but I have a two-sentence clear statement about a little bit about me. You can also do this. This is one thing I teach in my classes. Know three things about yourself that you can readily communicate. Three things you're great at, two professional, one personal, and things you're excited about, because that will automatically bring your presence and frequency up. Maybe you fly planes. Woo, something I want to learn.
There you
That's
go.
interesting.
Maybe you race cars.
Want to be a race car driver, as you heard in my introduction. So,
Yes.
I'm talking Formula One with anyone who wants to listen. Let's talk Formula One racing.
Yes, my father was a motorhead. He was NASCAR though. He
Oh,
would watch Formula One under protest if there was no NASCAR on.
it's a different art form.
It
IndyCar
is.
is a whole nother thing. It's different crowds for different audiences for each type of racing.
Absolutely. So, a lot of us think we have nothing exciting in our lives to share. How do we mine our lives for the exciting tidbits we want to put out there?
I've never been asked that. That's great. Well, go find something exciting. That's kind of foreign for me because I'm curious. I want you to put on your curious pants. Go put your curious pants on. Go read something or look at a funny YouTube video or open a magazine or go hug a tree or go talk to the smartest person you can find.
I was going to say, or someone who knows you better than you know yourself, perhaps, because I find that most people have some kind of fun or interesting thing about themselves, but they may not be able to see it because they're too close to it. That's just me. That's just normal stuff. No one would be interested in that. It's very easy to fall into that trap. Whereas somebody else would say, no, you're this amazing gourmet cook, and I can't believe the food that you put out. And you put such energy and love and creativity into the meals. It's like, oh, well, there you go. There's an interesting thing. Doesn't have to be skydiving.
Although we love skydiving, I
Although
hear you.
skydiving is exciting.
We want to skydive again. It's true. Ask someone because we take it for granted. We take it for granted. When people come to my house, they're like, this is gorgeous. Well, I was first going to be an architect, so I know how to put stuff together, color, design. I love it. I also have tattoos.
Here you go.
I'm not going to say anything more about that. As you said, every person has something very, very special and talented that they may not be aware of. Be ready to tell us that thing, even if you're
Yeah,
shy. That's where that conversation opens.
that's so funny. I was on a podcast, and the last question she always asked the guest was, do you have a tattoo? What is it? And if you don't, what would you get? And I'm like,
Good questions.
wow, okay, that
Woohoo!
is really cool.
Now we're getting personal and cool. Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not an ink person, but I know what I would get if I conditions were right and I felt like ink was the way to go. I have an answer to that.
Well, now you must share.
Oh, must I?
Yes, you
Okay,
must.
if I share mine, you get to share what yours is.
I will share my tattoos. You,
Because if I'm going to ink, I am going to ink with abandon, and it's going to be angel wings from the top of my shoulders down to the center of my knees. That's what I would do.
I have a visual on that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have on my chest, it can be seen when I wear a bathing suit. I have a heart and musical notes.
Ah,
That was my first tattoo. On my left shoulder, I have a goddess, and it says
oh,
pure goddess.
lovely.
And in California, I found a sacred tattoo artist. And so when I had these done, they were absolutely intentional on purpose and ritualistic. They have deep meaning for
Yes.
me.
It was not, I got drunk one weekend and came home with this
It
thing.
had Bob on my arm. No, do not bob your arm, women. No, no. Well, unless you
Oh,
really love him, but be careful.
yeah, even then, you can learn things about Bob many decades later that you did not know.
We know people who've had to have that tattoo removed, and I mean, they hurt. It's intense. You don't want to have one
Oh,
removed.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you either go through the removal process or you find someone who's creative enough who can re-ink it into something that's more meaningful.
Yes.
Either way, it's painful and expensive. So, back to the big presentation. If you could give us one piece of advice on how to really knock that out of the park, what would that be?
Learn to stay in the moment. We are so pressed. We are taught to hustle. We're taught to work more. We're taught to do all of this in this society.
Yes, and be thinking about the next thing that's coming down the road, and then you trip over what's right in front of your nose. Yeah.
You trip in front of it. And multitasking, even though it's been said and some women believe we multitask well, we actually don't. The
We
brain
just we
actually does
just
not.
switch rapidly. That's all we're doing. And
We're
that's why
switching.
you end up in overwhelm because switching is a difficult process.
It's stressful to us.
Yeah.
It's a stress response. If we can do as we've invited you to do here, know your material, write as much of your own material as you can. You got to own it and speak it in your words. Take the time to prepare and practice. It's not perfect, it's professionally prepared and practiced.
Yes.
PPP. And then if you're prepared, let yourself be in that moment, feel the energy, and I promise you, we promise you'll be in your brilliant zone and you will touch and connect with your audience.
Absolutely. I know one thing that comes out for me when I'm preparing for something is the thing that sounded great when I wrote it is like impossible to speak. And I think it has to do with writing and speaking actually being processed differently in the brain. And that's where preparing and actually practicing can make a huge difference in how you present, because now you can take that thing that sounded so great when you wrote it and now sounds like dry academic reading and you can speak the life back into it.
This is a key point you're making. Yes, yes, yes. Which is why we speak our speeches, presentations, and pitches out loud and we record them for that reason. Because as you said, I write things in kind of unusual, uncommon, but it doesn't sound good when I speak it out loud. It's not clear.
Mm,
So this is a key point you're making. Speak it out loud in your own voice so you can hear and understand the impression that could be making, which may not be what you want. Then you can pivot and adjust it.
exactly. When I write it, it tends to sound like an academic paper.
Ah,
And that's
and
just
that's
not engaging for anyone. It will get you an A plus in college, but it is not going to win anyone over after you've got that diploma.
even in academia, we're bored. People, let's stop
Let's
those
be
boring
honest. Yes.
presentations. Let's stop it. Stop that. Stop that. Tell us a story.
With some citations and references behind it.
With the facts. Do the left brain and then do the story in the right brain. Include everyone in your presentation, not just the left brain thinkers.
Exactly. So we're coming up on our last few minutes of the show here. Why don't you share how your work is coming out into the world and how people can engage with you? And we'll make sure we capture all the details down in the show notes.
Thank you. Miluna TV is my newest venture. This is my third television show, but it's different
Yay!
because, thank you. This time it's my name, you might have noticed, my brand and my way. I have the pleasure of being a part of Zondra Television. 71% of the producers are women. It's woman owned. Wink, wink, it's different and it's delightful. My vehicle is television and camera. And positive programming is what the world needs. So I host a business show, and this is a marketing asset for folks. Right
Ah,
now, we're preparing to shoot season 2. I'm looking for published authors and professionals, or entrepreneurs and published authors. So just to put that out there, if anyone wants to talk about that,
there's a good place to get some elevation for your
exposure
profile. Exposure
marketing.
is a beautiful thing.
On streaming television. Folks, this is where we're headed. It is a massive untapped audience to get your book and your business out there.
Yeah, and
So,
right now YouTube is eating broadcast television's lunch, even cable's lunch. So yes, it is definitely the place to go surf right now.
streaming's where we're going. So you want to be a part of that in that marketing. We've got to think differently. Things that used to work don't work anymore. I'm also a media coach. I have an 8-week concierge exclusive media communication coaching program. That's for those folks who maybe just got promoted to CEO. Now you're in the public eye. The spotlight is on, the lights are on, the camera's on. And I believe yes, chapter 6 is a chapter I'm giving away from my
Ah,
book,
very
my Forbes
nice.
book. Feel free to go to milunafauschmedia.com. That's the sum of all of my work. You can find out more about the coaching, my book, Miluna TV, and
And you
if
can
you'll,
claim your free chapter 6. What's in chapter 6, by the way? Why do we want
it's
chapter 6?
it's delight your audience.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So that's how to be more, wait for it, compelling, captivating, and confident when we're speaking.
Very nice. Just the ticket when you're standing up in front of the board or the Shark Tank or wherever you are doing your
Yes.
next presentation.
Folks, we got to get to the point. We got to be so clear and compelling. It is so noisy out there and it's only going to get worse. We're not headed in a great direction right now. You got to really own your own voice and know
Yeah.
that it matters out there.
Well, and here's the thing, right? It's not necessarily about more volume, although many people would say, well, yes, you need more volume of stuff, but it's also about more authentically communicated ideas and experiences and invitations. Because right now, everything is so AI generated. People are literally dying for authenticity and personal contact. And when you can come with presence and communicate effectively, you can definitely captivate that audience.
So beautifully said. We are craving the human touch, the real touch. No more fake news, please. It just confuses us. We're not designed for this. We're designed to speak beautifully, expressively. It's healthy, authentic to our heart and soul and purpose, and connect, as you said, heart to heart, baby, brain to brain and heart to heart.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining me here today, Miluna. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Well, it is my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
No problem. It was to my benefit. And thank you for joining us here today. I know you have a million different ways you could invest the last 48 minutes, and I'm honored that you've invested them with us. And it's my sincere hope that you took something practical and useful away with you today. And I would love to hear in the comments or through email to Zofia@steminstilettos.com what you thought of the episode, other topics you'd like to see, people you'd like to see me talk to, or just dump your heart out, because I know we are very disconnected and I am here to listen. So, with that in mind, until next week, go out there, be bold, be beautiful, and be authentically you.